Now, Fantasy Entertainment, owners of the demolished Fantasy Dome at the Trade Fair in La, say they are heading to court over what they describe as contempt of the court on the part of the Ghana Trade Fair Company. The over 20,000 capacity Fantasy Dome was demolished on Saturday. However, the Chief Executive Officer of the Prominent Event Center, Leslie Quaino, says the Trade Fair authorities disregarded a court injunction and used heavily built men who stormed the facility with sophisticated weapons to demolish the structure. Joining me in studio now is Leslie Quaino, CEO of the Fantasy Dome. Good afternoon to you and thanks for joining.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
I am amazed that you're still smiling, really, because when I saw how the place was, by now, I don't know why. But what's your secret, first of all, before we go into the
I believe in God, and I think everything happens for a reason. And if you have faith in God, nothing can shake your belief or stress you. So you always have to look to God, because all bad things happen for a reason. That means He has better things ahead of you. So you cannot fall down when you have God in your corner. You always have to look up and keep moving on.
How much is the dome worth?
I mean, I invested over $5 million, and that's because the dome, just the ground there alone, Trade Fair is all clay. Clay is very unstable, so, a building can collapse. And, when you are trying to have a big concert of 15, 20,000 people jumping, I don't want to have on my conscience that, they all collapsed and died. So what I did is I extracted the clay. I had to go down about 2.5 meters, actually 2.7 meters, extract all that of 8,000 square meters of the dome, put laterite, put concrete, and then screed it. And that was very costly, close to $2 million, 5 years ago. Obviously, the structure itself is a couple of $1 million, but I also invested in production. So the Fantasy Dome was the first event venue that you went there and they had light, sound, LED screen, stage. It was at chairs, tables. We had over 74 bathrooms. We had green rooms. We had dressing rooms. We had conference rooms. We even had offices. So it was the first 10-key, event center in Ghana, which is what you expect when you go to the US or the UK. No one in the US or the UK goes to an event center and bring chairs, and then they bring a stage, and then they bring lights. and for us to step up to it, this is the first center that did it. Yes.
What was the agreement between you and the Trade Fair Company before you set up?
We had a lease. It was supposed to be a 10-year lease, but we agreed to do a 5-year renewable lease. Obviously, in the lease, they put, which is in every government contract, a redevelopment clause, which I understood. Unfortunately, my structure is, although it's semi-permanent, based on the investment done, it made it slightly more difficult to leave. So about maybe 3 years in the lease. And remember, we had COVID for 2 years. So by year 3 of the lease, I'd only functioned for 6 months because COVID took a significant amount of part. Yeah. And then as we resume after COVID, the Trade Fair decided to partake in this redevelopment drive. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, it's very difficult to find land in Accra. The dome itself sits at about 2 acres. I need another 2 acres for parking, for ancillary service, for bathrooms. So it's very difficult. To do events in Accra, you have to be in Accra. You cannot be too far away because people will not come. So it took some time. I was able to locate some land at the University of Ghana, University of Legon, and we're in the final stages of negotiating to actually complete this transaction. So unfortunately, it was a 5-year engagement which ended on December 31st, 2023. About a couple of weeks before the lease ended, I sent a letter to the Trade Fair Authority, the CEO, Agnes Edu, requesting a 60-day extension to allow me to further negotiate at that time with the University of Ghana authorities to finalize the deal so that I'll be able to finally move, because they met the criteria of the land requirements. And she wrote me a letter back denying my request. She said, we've told you to leave, so we will not extend it, and you would have no access to your facility after January 1st. So I did what any businessman would do. I went to court, and I sought that the court give me access to the place to remove my stuff, and also give me enough time to remove it. because I need to bring in, some Chinese engineers and all that stuff that would set it up. The dome is a huge structure. I mean, it's not a regular tent that you just throw up and throw down. It's 150 meters by 50 meter structure.
Okay.
Very well built with air conditioning and everything that goes with it. So that's
so this is the writ of sermons for the to place the injunction on the action by the
trade fair. That's correct. Okay. And if you notice, that was issued all the way back in January.
It's January 12th,
yes,
2024, this year.
Yes. The court had a lot of problem trying to serve them because every time they would go to the offices of the trade fair, they were denied to receive it. They would claim that they are not trade fair employees and so on and so forth. So we had to go back into court in February to file substituted service, which is the only way you can make sure someone gets served. That was granted about 2 weeks ago, and a bailiff went and served them. They had to paste the writ on their premises, which they did. They have evidence of that. I mean, this is not me, this is the court. I mean, they have evidence of servicing, do substituted service, and placing it on the court bulletin boards as directed by the judge. We followed all the rules. So as far as we're concerned, they have been served and they're fully aware of this. Okay. Obviously, until this unfortunate incident happened.
So in December, you asked for 60 days.
That's correct.
So that 60 days probably would have ended around March 2, March 3rd.
Absolutely. That 60 days would have ended already. That's correct.
Why were you still unable to move?
Because in her letter, she told me I don't have access to the premises after January 1st.
Okay.
So I have to go to court to get the right authority to first give me the right time and also access to remove my stuff. But according to a letter, I would not have, and I don't want to trespass. So I decided to follow the law. So had they responded in good time, we may have, gone.
Also, you were not going there at all because of what was going on?
No, my security was there, but I wasn't. She made it clear in her letter that I do not have access.
Okay. Okay.
So there was no need for me to go and remove anything. I just needed the court to give me access to do that and also give me time to relocate my facility.
And they didn't give you any final warning before the demolition was done on Saturday?
No, they did not. What happened about a week ago, some national security operatives went to the facility and told my security that if they are not, they don't move it, they're gonna demolish it. And they left a number. I called Captain Frimpong, who was I think their lead in that conversation, and I made him aware that I don't know why they threatened anything against the facility. There's an injunction, and he told me to send it to him on WhatsApp. So I sent it to him on his phone, and he said when he gets into the office, he'll review it and he'll get back to me. Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't hear back until I met him at the site on Saturday, and he told me that he had lost his phone that day. So he was not able to look at the injunction, which he also made it clear that it's not between me and national security, it's between me and the National Trade Fair or the Ghana Trade Fair Company. So unfortunately, he didn't want to wade into our legal matters or battle.
So that's what he told you?
Yes, that's what he told me.
And then, even though you had sent him this, they still went ahead
that's correct.
To do what they did. Well, for purposes of education, this is a writ of sermons. And let me just read the statement of claim. It said, the A says, an order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendant, their assigns, privies, agent, workmen, and any person claiming an interest through the defendant from demolishing the plaintiff's dome or restricting it and its workmen, agent, and assigns from accessing to the specialized Margie tent, or dome. An order directed at the defendant to grant access to the plaintiff to continue with the dismantling and removal of the specialized Margie tent or dome. Now, so someone will say, because you said that they haven't replied to this, right?
Yes.
So let me just ask, for purpose of educating people, why would this, even though they didn't reply, I don't see any judgment given this or granting this order. Why are you still saying that there was an injunction for them to go ahead with what they did?
Well, because once you receive this writ, you're supposed to go to court within a certain period of time.
Okay.
Right? But this is a writ that's been issued. So when you go to court, then the judge will say, okay, let him access and give him 60 days, 90, whatever. You could have said give him a week, right? But you have to obey it. You have to respond to it, go to court with my lawyers, their lawyers, and there'll be some kind of an arrangement made with a finite time and for me to have access to remove my stuff. Obviously, that did not happen. But unfortunately, that's what an injunction is. It's to stop any demolition or any adverse effect to a plaintiff against what they are afraid of. In the court of law. And it's a writ does not only apply to certain people. It applies to every citizen of Ghana and every company. It doesn't only not apply to certain people of certain parties or certain color or certain creed. It's a law of Ghana. You have to obey it if it's set upon you.
And I think if I remember correctly, by a certain number of days, if the defendant does not reply or you don't go to court, then the injunction becomes forceful.
So on the substituted service, the next court date that the judge has specified is April 18th.
Okay.
Because he had given us time to do all that stuff. So the next court date, which we were going to go, was April 18th, which I guess at that time, if they didn't show up again, he was going to issue judgment on that.
Interesting. So you took nothing from the place?
No, I didn't take anything.
Not even your computer?
No. Everything was there. Every device that was there was in place, yes.
That's a huge distraction there.
Absolutely. A massive blow, not just to me personally, but to the entertainment industry. For years, for 25 years, I've done all the big concerts at the stadium, Movado, Alkaline. You can name it. I've Popcorn. I've done every major artist, and every time I do, and the first thing someone says, we need venues, we need better venues. And nothing against the stadium, but it has a lot of challenges. It wasn't purposely built for concerts, right? Even just the glass around it. How do you get sound to the crowd, right? That sits behind it. So, I went to do this investment because this is my line of business. I am in the entertainment field, and I took it upon myself. A lot of people wait for government to do things, and the government always says private sector investment, but how can we keep doing this if there's going to be the response? Do you have to destroy it? Could you not help me relocate it faster? I was looking for land. I just needed somewhere to go to have my peace of mind, right? Why didn't anyone step up to help me?
You didn't go to the Ministry of Tourism, Arts
and
Culture?
I did. I had meetings with Mark. He sent me to, I think, the Ghana Museum sites, but they were not big enough. My dome needs a lot of land. No one in Accra had that much land. But after that, the conversation stopped. I need help. I didn't get it. Not against anyone, but if my business is as important to the industry as it should have been, I should have gotten more help.
Okay. And I understand you're going to court on this?
Oh, absolutely. This is a clear contempt.
So you'll go to court on that?
Oh, absolutely. I read somewhere that they evicted me, and that is not an eviction. That is complete total destruction. That's even worse than a demolition, because there was no need to go to that level of destruction. It doesn't make any sense. What were you trying to do? Completely destroy the industry, completely destroy the business. Especially when you're doing it illegally too.
You suspect foul play?
Maybe frustration, but this is not how we are a country of laws. Just because you are frustrated because you want to kick a tenant out, and we've all been through. I've been a landlord several times, and I get it. Tenants also have issues, and sometimes you want to get them out, but you can't just get a bulldozer and knock even a kiosk on your land. You can't just get a bulldozer and knock it over. Any kind of demolition or eviction you do, you need a court order. That's what laws are for. If not, we all own bulldozers, because all we go around is just knocking people's stuff down. That's not how law works.
I sympathize with you, and I pray that you get what you desire and what you deserve, really. Mr. Kwenu, I wish you all the best in this fight.
Thank you very much.
All right, then. But I hope it doesn't change your interest to invest in Ghana.
It doesn't. I've been doing this for too long.
Okay.
All I want on this one is for the courts to stand up, for Ghana police to stand up, because people like myself will only keep doing it if we do know that the laws actually work. If we do know that the national security will not be used to demolish our locations, forcefully. I mean, I think we have to stop those things, and I need the authorities to step up and make sure that people are held accountable for their actions.